Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see how to create IAM user groups and add users to user groups and how to manage IAM user groups. So just to give you some basic understanding of what IAM user group are. So IAM user group is a collection of IAM users. So by using user groups, you can specify permissions for multiple users. Okay. So using this, you can manage the permissions for those users easily. So let's imagine you have a set of a team of developers and testers and DevOps. Okay, and you have multiple people working in these teams. Now all these team members, like all the developers, will have the same access. Instead of giving, like, defining the access for each and every user, and when creating each user, instead of defining access, what we do is we create a user group called developers and define the permissions that that group will have. So any new developer that needs to be onboarded will be added to this group and the access will be replicated. So this way, the managing of the access will be easier. So if you want to remove a particular access for developers, if you just modify this user group, it will be enough. You don't need to update permissions of each and every user separately. So that's the concept of IAM user groups. So with that context, let's see how to create user groups and add users to user groups and how to, manage the permissions of user groups. So I'm in my AWS console. So make sure you are logged into the AWS using a role which has permissions to create and add users to IAM. So basically, it's advisable, like, if you're creating IAM users and everything, you should have all the permissions on IAM. Okay, so let me go to IAM console. So this is how the console looks like. Let me click on the user groups here. So I don't have any user groups as of now. So let me click on create group and let's call this group as developers. And the next thing is, if you already have users, you can add these users to the user group. So let me skip this step. We will create the users later and add them to the user group. Okay, so we named the group as developers, and next thing is you can attach the permissions for this user group. So these are all the AWS managed policies that you have. So you can attach any of this, or you can also create your own customer managed policy and attach it here. So let's assume we want to give S3 full access and also Lambda full access, and also EC2 for this developers. Okay, so let me give those. So basically, I'm just giving full access to these three services for these users. Any user that is added to this user group will automatically have these permissions. Okay, so click on create user group. Okay, that's it. So now the group is created and the permissions are defined. Now you can add any developer. So if you want to add a developer to this group, you can click on add users here. You can add an existing user, or if you want to create a new user, let's go to users here and click on create user, and let's call this as let's call the developer as Vijay, and we want to give management console access to this user. Let me select this. I want to create an IAM user. So basically, it's asking whether you want to create an user in IAM or you want to integrate with a third-party identity provider. So I'm going to create it here. I'll just select auto-generated password, and user needs to create a new password in the next signing, and click on next. So here it is asking what are the permissions that this user Vijay needs to have. So you can either add this user to a group, or you can copy permissions from other group or attach the policies directly. Okay, so we want to add this user to the group developers that we just created. Okay, so if we select this, it will show you the list of user groups that are available. So let me select the developers here and click on next. Okay, so now if you see, this user Vijay has the permissions that this developers group has, and IAM user change password, because we need to allow this user to be able to change the password of its user. Okay, click on create user. Okay, so now this user is created, and this is the console password. And so you, now if this user logs in using this username and the password, you can email the sign in instructions to the user. You will be having access to S3, Lambda, and EC2. Okay, so you can download the CSV file of credentials and store it if you wish. Okay, so now if you go back to user groups, you have developers, and under developers you have Vijay. So you can add any number of users that you want, and you can remove as well. So you can also update the permissions for this group of users. So let's assume you have 10 developers, and you want to add a particular permission to all those developers. You can just come here and add it here. So if you add it, it will be reflected in the permissions of all those users. So that is the advantage of using user groups instead of having disparate users separately. Okay, so yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. In the next videos I'm going to be discussing more about IAM rules and policies. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.